All right.
Next question. Started jiu-jitsu this week and love it. I'm a former boxer and was thrilled that they let me spar on my first day. Is sparring on the first day too soon, in your opinion? I was repeatedly told to tone it down by the higher belts. I thought I was toning it down. Is jiu-jitsu more like a dance or a street tussle? Am I supposed to relax and let these green and blue belts destroy me? I'm confused.
This is such a great question because you see this all the time in jiu-jitsu, and I know from the podcast and from Twitter that there's so many people that are starting jiu-jitsu because of the podcast, and that's definitely why I wanted to answer this one, because this is how everybody feels when they start.
Yep.
And you're always going to get the senior belts or the more experienced people telling you, hey man, you got to relax.
By the way, if he's rolling with green belts, that means he's rolling with people under the age of 16 years old.
Yeah, I actually had a little discussion. I've heard that there's some academies that give out green belts as an intermediate belt between white and blue.
Gotcha.
That there's adults.
Gotcha.
I have never heard of it,
right.
but I was told that the other day, so that might be the situation here.
Yep, I dig it.
And by the way, I'll just go on record as saying I disagree with it.
Yeah.
You don't have a green belt as an adult. You should be white belt and then blue belt. That's the way it was, and that's the way it should remain.
Yeah, if I were an instructor, that's how I would too. But to me, hey man, do what you dig. And he's doing jiu-jitsu, and this green belt, if in fact he's an adult, he's doing jiu-jitsu apparently long enough to get a green belt. So I say, hey,
no, he's not a green belt yet.
Right. But
these
guys
talking about some guy.
In the event of this green belt that he's mentioned being an adult.
Okay.
Either way, I say go do it.
So yeah. Now the reason that people are telling you to relax, they're trying to be helpful because you're going to learn more if you relax and you actually concentrate on the techniques that you've been told. The couple techniques that you've learned, try them. I'm not saying don't fight it because you don't know what else to do. So you just use your horrible instincts to try and just muscle out of stuff, and you get beat anyways. And that's why you're just beating your head against the wall. So they're trying to get you to relax and use the technique that you learned and pay attention to what the other person's doing and think about where they're positioning their body and what they're doing and how that's working. So you can actually ask them and say, hey, when you were holding me here, I couldn't move my arm. How were you holding that? Right. So you can learn. If all you're trying to do is muscle out of it, you're not thinking about what's happening, and that's not a good sign.
Right. Yeah. I think it's funny because relax, when you hear relax as a white, I don't know if you even remember when you're a white belt, but when they say relax, more accurately put, but they're saying try to relax.
Yes.
Because we know, everyone knows, the guy's not going to relax.
Good
He's
point.
over here rolling with a guy who doesn't know anything. Of course, the guy's in mount, which is like, super uncomfortable to be in. Of course, he's going to be trying to flip out, try to get out of there. He doesn't know the moves. So he can't be like, hey, I'm going to relax and do all the moves I know. He knows 2 moves. It's his first day or whatever. So try to relax. And I think that's a good point where don't be going so hard and spazzing out so hard that nothing's going through your mind as far as what position is this guy on me. I remember not my first day, but early on where side control, I barely even realized the difference between a side control and a, half guard situation. And that's one of the things that as time went on, I wish I would have known, okay, this is side control.
And if you would have been more aware and less fighting,
right,
you would have said, oh wait, he's got my leg trapped. That's what feels different now.
Exactly right. That's a game. You gotta switch your game to this side control game. You know?
Yep. And what's telling someone, am I supposed to let these green and blue belts destroy you? No. But you got to remember, you can't look at it like a fight.
Right.
It's not a fight.
Yeah.
It's not a fight. You know what it is? Don't let them destroy you. Let them educate you.
Right.
That's when you're rolling with a higher belt, especially when you don't know very much at all, they're educating you.
Yeah.
You should be trying to pay attention. And let's just take this off the mats and into life. Because when you get into a situation, an unknown situation, what are you going to do? Are you going to fight and struggle against when someone has more knowledge than you about some topic? Are you going to fight against them? No, just be quiet and listen and learn. Mm-hmm. When you're in a new scenario, something you've never done before, are you going to try and compete and win at this thing you've never done before? Or are you going to try and learn and be educated? My recommendation is to learn and be educated, because you're not going to win, lest it's a miracle. But most situations don't allow for miracles. Mm-hmm. So when you're in life, relax. Try and learn. When you're on the mat, relax. Try and learn.
Try to relax.
Try to relax. Gotta try to relax.
It's true. And maybe this is just me, but when I think of the whole spectrum when I first started versus just even right now, and of course I don't have it all figured out, but when I kind of reflect on that whole learning process, I like the fact that I couldn't really relax at the beginning, because you start to realize, oh, I see how I learned that right there. Mm-hmm. I see the difference now in the time where I didn't really know how to relax versus even like the time where I thought I knew how to relax, but after 8-10 minutes, you're like, oh, dying. Versus now where you can go 10-20 hard, and find places where you can relax and be able to basically control the scenarios where you can relax. I like that. I like that at the beginning, you can't relax.
That's
just like
true.
In the beginning, you didn't know certain moves.
Right.
Relaxing is yet another move. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. I rolled with Dean tonight, Dean Lister, and he was all fired up because he'd been on a trip. And so he's like, hey, let's roll. So we rolled, and he got the mount position. And I just was down there relaxing. Speaking of relaxing, I was just down there relaxing. And I'm relaxing, but I'm just doing a little bit of off balancing of him, so he can't really relax 100%. Mm-hmm. And it took me a few minutes, like about 5, but I got out of the mount and got back to another position, got back to guard. So you're right. Relaxing is actually a technique in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and a big part of it, not the whole thing, but a big part of it is just being conscious of it. Maybe I'm spazzing too much or something. Of course, with everything, it's going to come with reps. It's going to come with experience and stuff like that. But yeah.
And by the way, Dean would tell you, and I would tend to agree with him, not only is relaxing a technique, spazzing is also a technique.
Yeah.
And sometimes, Dean will get some position on me, and I will spaz to get out of it. Now, I'm not encouraging the person that wrote this question to start working on their spaz technique. No, Don't start working on that till later. No. Save that right now. Start with your relax technique.
Yeah, yeah.
All right.